Hi everyone. My name's Kaitlin Gratia, and I guess I'm doing a YouTube video. I've wanted to for a while and just haven't. I guess because I'm a chicken. And I don't know. I was always so concerned about what people would think and like what they would say, and I care way too much about people's opinions of me. And then today I was like, I have my earrings on, my new earrings on, got my makeup done, I actually have my nails done, like I'm put together. And I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm 21 and I need to get over it. So I'm doing a YouTube video, finally.
Well, hey, do I smell champagne?
Because it's my first YouTube video, I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. And I knew that I had to try to stay away from something that I was going to rant about, which is a very high probability with me talking. And if I start to rant, I apologize. It is something I'm trying to edit. This glare is freaking me out. I wanted to do something that was kind of... It had less pronity? Pronity? I wanted to do something I was less prone to rant about. Hair's pissing me off. I guess this could be like a what's in my bag video. Except there's only one thing in the two bags I have with me. And that is books.
I checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
Ooh, it's sturdy. I had lent the bag to one of my girlfriends originally, like last year. But I decided that since I just got the books back, that's what I could talk about. So, yeah, I just got a whole bag worth of books back, along with some of hers that she sent me to read. So, I guess I'll start off with what I'm reading. So, I'm reading Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I guess that's how you pronounce it. This is Kathleen's. This is the girl that I lent all the books to. I've had this for only a couple days, and I'm already halfway. I'm into chapter 8. I'm the slowest reader on the face of the planet, so I'm only a couple of chapters into this. But oh my god, it is the best thing ever. Like, I don't read a lot. I certainly don't read as much as I used to, but I read enough to know the general gist. And since I'm going to mention it later, my mother's a published novelist. So I know what good writing looks like, and I know what really bad writing looks like too. I have literally never seen writing like this. And like, I mean that in the absolute best of ways. It writes, ooh, that's the end of the book. I don't want to see that. There we go. Now I'm in safe. I have read this portion of the book. I'm not going to accidentally see something. First of all, I love books that have maps in the front. Hopefully you guys can see it. Look at the map in this thing. Like, I hope you guys can see that because I can't see my camera anymore. I am so visual, but I will ignore, like, what is written in front of me if I have an image in my head. Even in this. Like, I know that the Darkling in this is described differently than how I have him in my head. Like, he is described as wearing all black and dark hair, black eyes. Okay? I understand that. Like, Darkling. Makes some sense. In my head, I have him with blonde hair. Like, I saw it the second I saw it. Like, the Darkling. Oh, blonde hair. It was an immediate image. I will never get rid of it until I see a movie with a character with black hair. He will forever be blonde. So, I very much like it when there's maps, because then it doesn't conflict with the image I have in my head. And I saw immediately Ravka. And that's the other thing. I love the fact, even things like Panem, which is clearly post-apocalyptic. Like, I understand that it's set in what was originally America. Or at least that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. It sounds American. I saw Ravka. Does that not sound Russian to y'all? I kind of love it. It's Russian, and like all the other names, it was very refreshing to hear this other world with something other than American. This is the story of the Gratia. They are magic users. And it follows Elena Starkov. They call her a sun summoner. She's gone from an orphaned poor girl into one of the highest group of elites in this country. All the characters are alive. They flow really well. It's great. I'm very, very impressed with this book. And in the words of Veronica Roth, unlike anything I've ever read.
Okay, well then, books.
Okay, so on to the books that I gave Kathleen. Oh, I haven't read that yet. That doesn't count. Okay, so this was one of the first books that I ever read. Books.
Wait, no, that's not it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
This is one of the first books.
So bad. I can't remember. I don't know why. It's weird.
This is one of the first, I forgot about that, books that I ever read in the genre of, aside from, Magic Treehouse books, which were great for kids. If you have little children, like elementary school children, and you need them to read, find them the Magic Treehouse books. Okay, they're incredible. They're 100 pages, and they have pictures in them, and there's 1,000 of them. I kid you not. So, aside from things like that, this was the first decent sized book that I read in the magical kind of historical zone. And it's called Old Magic by Marianne Curley. I remember this book, seeing it now. I read this in middle school sometime, probably 6th-ish, maybe 7th, but that was 2006, 2007 era. Because it was the same year that I read Reincarnation by Suzanne Wayne. So actually I lied. This is the first book. I'm going to put this down for a second. This is the first book that I read of this kind of magical genre. It's actually the book that made me start to believe in reincarnation. I should really read this now that I'm an anthropologist's brain. This is perfect. I do remember this book so clearly now, and I love it to death. And it does really well with the laws that follow reincarnation. I think I remember which life it is. Actually, I know for a fact I remember which life it is because I remember the wound. It does so well because it's literally a book of short stories, but you have to know what happened beforehand to read the next ones. And I think it goes by chapter. Yeah, it does. I remember at least one instance where their souls switched. And the way that you tell that is because one of them gets an injury in the previous life and it shows up in this new life. But oh my god, this was my favorite book at the time. And I remember it. I'm going to put this on my reading list right now because I love it. There's 293 pages. But it's fairly big text. I have not read this in a very long time, which is why it's losing a star. Suzanne Wayne's Reincarnation. Give it a shot. I love it to death. It's fantastic. So this must have been the next book that I read. Marianne Curley's Old Magic. This, again, does really, really well with the laws that it pertains. This is not reincarnation, but it is time travel. It follows Kate and Jared. The centuries-old curse, I felt it come back up. It wasn't really a fangirl moment. It was just
Pain! Oh! And panic! Reporting for duty!
It addresses the butterfly effect, which, for those of you who don't know, butterfly effect basically states that the present,
I'm getting this all wrong completely. Can we start again?
The present is how it is because the past happened as it happened. You go back in time and change one detail, and the present could be way different. It does address the butterfly effect, and I remember there's a specific instance where you're like, why are we cheering for this? This will destroy everything. And I'm not going to talk anymore about that. It's called Old Magic. It is, I don't know how many pages. 369 pages. I remember this going by fairly fast. Again, I'm a really slow reader. So, aside from the twist, I don't really remember it very well. So I'll have to give it a 3, maybe 3.5. Because let's be real, I haven't read this in like a decade. So, okay. These books I hold dear, particularly this one. I have reread this one. I think I've reread it 3 times already. Okay, I got this freshman year of high school. I will definitely reread it. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and rate it right now. It's a 4. Like, it actually lie. It's like a 4.5. Okay, like it's not quite 5 because the rest, like, it is a series and it kind of just kept going. I honestly stopped reading. Like, I think I read part of book 4 and then gave up. I have actually 2 and 3 right here. 3's okay. 2 I didn't really care for. It was fine, but I'm also one of those people, like, if a book is okay alone, leave it alone. Like, unless you have an overarching plot line, don't keep going. Okay, I guess I lent away the first one of these, so I don't know where it is. And then the next one that I just happened to see in the same series happens to be the 6th book. But they have the covers of the first 5 on the back, so I'll just zoom in and show that. Both of these series I loved at the beginning, and then it just kind of kept going, and it got killed. Like, it just ran out of interest for me. The first book I was going to talk about is Alison Noel's Evermore. I love this thing. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I love it to death. It's about this girl finding her way after her family died. And, like, she's falling in love. This guy's a little interesting. She has new powers because, you know, she died and came back to life. It's the Immortals series. Book's called Evermore. The second one, I have a bookmark in this. Hang on. What is that? It's a movie ticket. Oh, this must be hers. She must have been using it as a bookmark. So I'll just stick it back in here. Okay, so this is Blue Moon. This is the second of the Immortals series. And then Shadowland, which is this. This is the third one. This one introduces a new character. Well, actually, this one does too. But this guy's important. His name's Roman. I obviously didn't finish the series, so I don't know the importance of him. But he's the reason why I liked the third book, even though I didn't really care for the second. The second's fine. It's 2 stars. And I know plenty of people who loved it. Wasn't my thing. 1, 2, 3. It goes 5, 2, 3. Okay? The other series that kind of just ran dry was the House of Night series. It's a twist. I love this, all of this. That's tattoo work in the book. Ace publication job. It is a book of vampires, just for the record, but it's twisted and done. Like, I read this, I picked up this series right after I finished Twilight. It is dark. Okay, they are dark. They are a little sick. I'm really pissed with the main character. I'm pissed with Zoe after book 3. Zoe kind of goes off the deep end in the third book as far as romantic. And then, thankfully, in the fourth book, we meet a new character. And I love him to death. And he's my baby. And he's standing right here. That's him. And then there's this whole other big issue happening 4 and 5. Like, it's all one giant plot line, but there's a lot of different pieces that come in at different times. It is extremely good writing. I very much enjoy the cast's writing. It became too much of an investment for me to get into them. And honestly, by the time I dropped it, I was in high school and I was having to read stuff for school. The first book, it's been a long time since I've read it, so I'm going to give it a 3 just because I don't really remember the first book. I really liked Stevie Ray's book, Burned. That's definitely a 4. I loved that book. Last book that I read in London is actually away from all of this, like, magical stuff. It's actually just a straight romance. And it was one of those things that popped up on Goodreads and I'd always kind of wanted to read it, and then I found it, and I found it in a Wimbledon bookstore, and I was like, yeah, why not? I need something to read anyway, and that is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Oh my god. Like 4 stars, straight across the board. It might even be 4.5. Like, I love this book so much. Stephanie Perkins is an amazing author. I love her. This is so clever. It's an American girl who goes to boarding school in Paris and falls in love with an English boy, a British guy. The words change as you flow through the story. There's a guy that they call St. Clair. It's his last name. And then as they go on and relationships change, you start, the word, instead of St. Clair, Perkins starts putting his first name. And then, they have a fight and they go back to St. Clair and then they go back to his first name. I cannot pronounce his first name correctly, so I'm not even going to try. This is Anna and the French Kiss. And it is so cute. And it is so adorable. And this is how I want to fall in love. Okay, so as promised, I have the introductory book of my mother, One Scream Away. And I show you both covers. This is the British cover. This is the American cover. I show you both covers because this is what it's more like, okay? The American cover, no one was happy with the American cover of One Scream Away. This is, if you're thinking of the book, this is what it is. It is murder suspense. Well, it's romantic suspense. This is the first book in the Sheridan duo. It follows ex-FBI agent Neil Sheridan. But the name is Kate Brady, and that's my mommy. These were when it first came out. I don't know if the prices have gone, I don't know if they've varied at all. In America, when it first came out, it was $7, and in England, it was £8. It would mean the absolute world to us, and to me, and to my mom, if you would go out and buy these, if you like murder suspense. If you don't, then you can ignore that promo. I'm with you. The only murder suspense I read is my mom's books, so there you go. I guess I'm done, and that's good because my timer is almost at 2 hours of film. But thank you so much for letting me do this. When I find something else to talk about, I will shoot another video, and hopefully this can become a thing in my life. I don't know how to say goodbye. I haven't figured that out yet. But, I guess I'll just see y'all later. Bye. I suck. I can't focus. I'm gonna have the best blooper reels on YouTube. This is great. ADD reel. My ADD reel. Yay. I'm blocking out the sun. Maybe I can just edit all this out. I have no idea. Excuse me as I try to organize. Because I'm shedding. There's dog hair everywhere. Look at this, chapter art. Isn't that so pretty? Because I've seen things, and I've read fan fiction, and I know too much, and I'm looking at myself again instead of the camera. I'm gonna cry. I just fangirled over this. It's just copyright issue. I dropped the book.
That's all, folks.